Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well. The boss says that we are stacked. That we are stacked. Do we believe it? Well, you know what? It seems like the Mets and their planning and David Stearns, the way he's went about this season, they truly believe that we have a stacked farm system. Really. And you know what? We knew that we had guys coming up that can hit offensive guys, Acuna, Drew Gilbert, Jet Williams, our top guys to say the least. But now it seems that after the spring breakout game, that we have a lot of young pitchers who are ready, who can throw upper 90s, have nasty stuff, went to the pitching lab, have developed themselves, and they are ready to make a name for themselves. They are all ready to compete. And Steve Cohen said one thing when he got here. Of course, he said the thing that everybody remembers, that he wants to win a World Series in 3 to 5 years. But he also said another thing, and that was that his main philosophy or way to go about business was that he is going to bridge the gap, meaning he was going to lay out money so that we would still have a reputable team that could hopefully fight for the playoffs, and in 2002 we did. Meanwhile, we will be developing prospects, specifically pitching prospects. Now, in the first draft, we drafted Dominic Hamill, Calvin Ziegler. These guys have been in the system for a couple years, but throughout the years, we have been adding pitchers who have talent, and it seems like a lot of our pitchers are underrated. But what if Steve Cohen and now David Stearns have assessed that these guys are ready? We've bridged the gap, and that these guys are ready. And it makes all the sense in the world why Steve Cohen wouldn't spend $20, $30 million on starting pitchers when he believes he has 7, 8 guys in the minor leagues who are ready to fill those roles, right? And Steve Cohen, when asked, I believe it was the other day, what he thought about the spring breakout game, he was extremely excited. Like we've been saying, folks, pitching is damn expensive, as reiterated by Steve Cohen. And Steve Cohen put his money where his mouth is. He put his money where his mouth is. How many owners do that in all of sports? How many? I don't care how damn rich these owners are. They don't put their money where their mouth is. And Steve Cohen did. He will do. But he is a guy who has been true to his word. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's down there for spring training. I mean, this guy is so active with wanting this franchise to be successful, turning this franchise around, and that's where I got to give Steve Cohen, the Cohen family, Alex Cohen, all the credit in the world, because many owners don't do this. They may do it a day here and there, but Steve Cohen does it on a consistent basis. He's been trying to make the fan experience better at Citi Field. He's building up around Citi Field the projects. I mean, it is something that he wants to make an enjoyable thing for the Mets fan. And how great is that? Not only for the fan, but also for the players. He wants to make New York, Queens a destination that players want to come to, that free agents will take less, that guys coming throughout the minor leagues will sacrifice, take those Braves-like contracts, because they know they're going to be in a place that is successful and that is sustainable throughout the years. Okay, now just to go over it, and people are saying, who are these 7, 8 pitchers we're stacked? Now, we saw a lot of the pitchers perform, most notably Brandon Sprout, a guy who the Mets drafted twice. I believe they drafted him last year again in the second round. He's a guy who could touch 100 miles per hour. He went in the pitching lab, and I mean, this guy looks to be like scary talented, and he's a guy that we haven't really heard much of. So that's where we get to like the guys that are added. Like, of course, we've heard of guys like Christian Scott, Mike Vassell, Dominic Hamill, Blade Tidwell. Now you add a Brandon Sprout. That's 5 guys right there. And then also now some new guys. Nolan McLean, the two-way player. This guy looks like he's nasty. He has a slider, 3,200 RPMs, which is sick crazy. Obviously, you got Tyler Stewart, Calvin Ziegler, like I mentioned before. That's 8 guys right there. Even if 2 or 3 of them turn out to be good, I mean, that is phenomenal. I'd rather our prospects be underrated. I'd rather them be underrated. We have pitching prospects and we have hitting prospects. Our hitting prospects are more highly touted, but I'm telling you, the Mets right now are going in a positive direction. And I will go back to the video that I made a couple weeks ago. MLB knows the Mets are going to be scary good. And it's just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time because, MLB knows that Steve Cohen, he's doing it the right way. He's doing it the right way. Do you think the Mets and Steve Cohen were the only teams that wanted David Stearns? No. Obviously, the Brewers wanted to retain him. Obviously, he left a farm system in Milwaukee. They were the second best farm system in all of baseball. They made the playoffs 5 times in 8 years that he was there. They had the best record in the National League in 2018. They traded for Christian Yelich. They made a lot of great moves. He is a very brilliant president, and he's only getting better. He's 37 years old, and he's only getting better. He's only getting better. So I got to say, Steve Cohen has bridged the gap. We've seen that. He has got his man, David Stearns. Obviously, he's been building up the pitching lab and all the resources. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. Major League Baseball right now, all the teams are on notice. They're on notice. And you know what? I've said this in the beginning of the year. I feel, a team like the Yankees, it's always been a thing where we want to win the city. We want to do that. And I kind of feel that the Yankees feel that they have to make a last stand that, you know what, if we don't take the city this year in 2024, the Mets are going to be the dominant team in NYC for the foreseeable future. That's how I truly feel. And that's why I really think that Cashman and Steinbrenner, Hal, of course, they're like, this is our last stand right now. This is our last stand. And you know how we have those 7, 8 pitching prospects? The Yankees, they don't. They got 1 or 2 good position prospects, and that's it. Our farm system is stacked. It's stacked. Don't let Baseball America, don't let all these publications say otherwise. Our farm system is stacked. It's going to continue to be stacked. We have a formula right now that David Stearns is going to really abide by, of the success. And now we have a guy like David Stearns who is a genius at this, and he will and deal. Stearns is not a guy who will get ripped off in trades. I'll tell you that. Steve Cohen has confidence in David Stearns. He said it the other day. They asked him, "Are you going to, see yourself participating in negotiations and participating in, acquiring players?" Well, he said, to be fair, with Scott Boras, he feels he adds value to that relationship in terms of negotiating with guys. He has clients of like Pete Alonso, and that's fair. That's true. But in terms of who has the final decision about, going after certain players, it is going to be David Stern's job to present any opportunity to Steve Cohen. It is his decision. And you know what? If it's going to be a financial decision, yes, Steve Cohen, obviously he has to sign the checks. That's one thing. But if they're going to make a trade or feel that, we're going to give a prospect, David Stern is the man. And that's also part of the game. It's also part of the game. Yes, you want to develop these prospects, but if you feel that you can build their value so that you can flip these guys for other players, other proven players, that's also a good value of building up your farm system. That was another thing that the Yankees failed at in 2017, 2018 when they had guys like Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar and Greg Bird, and the list really goes on. And they never flipped these guys. They never developed these guys. These guys just went to the wayside, and that was it. The New York Mets cannot make that mistake. Any guys who really don't have a foreseeable future with the team because of, what reason or another, we have to deal them in some type of way. Okay, and it's David Stern's job to determine which players those will be. Another comment Steve Cohen made, and he was asked, will you be negotiating with Pete Alonso during the season? And basically, I don't think he has an appetite to negotiate with Boris about Alonso. He stated how we've done this before with Diaz. We've done this before with Nimmo. We don't need the distraction. We could do it after the season. And I get that. Why put one guy before the whole roster? Wait till after the season where that's when you do that business and where it won't become a story. So I can understand that. And it does make sense. It does make sense. And I think it also makes sense in the fact that if a Vientos or a Beatty or an Alvarez breaks out, or one of these other prospects in the lower leagues like an Acuna or Gilbert, let's say we got 3 or 4 guys that come on the scene, and Pete Alonso's power bat, while still valuable, is a little less valuable, right? So that gives the New York Mets a little more leverage. Then on the Pete Alonso side, and I give Pete all the credit in the world, he's betting on himself. Obviously, he has to produce at a high level. That's number one. And number two, he has to stay healthy. So there is a lot of risk for Pete Alonso going to free agency. So the fact that him and Boris have decided that that's going to be their game plan, clap hands. I respect that. I really do. But hey, you know what? Drop a comment, like, subscribe. I'd love to hear what you think about this, about the New York Mets, our prospects. What do you think? Do you think we got a whole plethora of pitching prospects that are on the rise? Do you believe we're underrated, like a lot of fans are kind of saying right now? But at the end of the day, it looks like there's a lot of excitement in the air, and I'm happy. I'm happy. So you know what? We will see. I got to have faith in David Stearns right now because he hasn't let me down yet. He hasn't let me down. I mean, people could say he didn't sign Jordan Montgomery. He didn't sign, Blake Snell. Well, nobody else is jumping at them, so why should we? Why should we? And that goes to actually a bigger part of what's going on in Major League Baseball, and very, very interesting. Let me just mention this real quick. The Braves signed Adam Duvall the other day, very good player, for $3 million. $3 million. And I think the spring breakout and the fact that a lot of teams are going, they're following the model of if they need an extra bat or they need extra pitchers, they'd rather develop their players than pay a veteran, 35, 36-year-old. It's like Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham is a free agent. He's a free agent. We got a young prospect. Teams were clamoring for Tommy Pham last year at the deadline. He did well with Arizona. So why is this guy free agent? Nobody could benefit from Tommy Pham. Nobody. But I think signing a 36-year-old Tommy Pham comes with a lot of baggage. First of all, Tommy Pham, I think he made $6 million last year, so he's probably looking for a raise based upon his last season. And with that, last year he took he wanted to prove himself, so he took a job with the New York Mets that didn't guarantee him playing time. I assume this year he's looking for more playing time. So that's the thing. It's a double-edged sword, and there's a lot of players right now, talented players that are sitting right now with no jobs, and none bigger than the Boris clients. So again, drop a comment. Let's go Mets. A lot of excitement. Obviously, we have the opening day coming up very soon, and we're going to cover the topics all year. So, stick around. Speak to you very soon. Have a great day.